Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Kuri, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. I don't usually make episodes on the weekend, but I really wanted to come and speak to you guys about this because I always prescribe to you things that you have to do. And I sometimes have this feeling of imposter syndrome, like, who am I to actually be telling these guys what to do? But at the same time, as much as I can, and in many cases, I try to live as close to what I prescribe as close as I can. And I'm saying it because I sometimes fall short. And again, it's a process that I continuously work on every single day. And it would be really unfair for me to say, I've got it all made and everything is all good and I've got it all sorted. And I when I spoke to a client about this, and he says, I can't believe you two go through this. And I was like, dude, I go through this as much as anyone, but I just have a good handle of it where 9 times out of 10, I'm getting it right. But there are times when I get it wrong. And I need you guys to know this, because when you do, it empowers you to actually realize that when you do fuck up, you still have another chance to make things good again. So I really wanted to put this message out there because it's very easy to look at somebody else and think, okay, they got it made. How about me? And why is it always me that is always suffering? Like I went on Friday, I was actually, at one point she written a message really saying that I don't think we're compatible. Again, that was just a move for her to make me be in fear and so on, but it was a message. So I replied the message and said, well, I'm not going to be having this conversation over text message. Pretty much saying, I'm not going to ignore you, but I'm not going to have this conversation right now. So again, waited till Saturday. Saturday we came and then said, you know what? You said a lot on the messages. I didn't respond because I didn't think it was a conversation we needed to have. And I want to have that conversation right now. And these are my points, X, Y, Z. And she was trying to act as though she was listening, but she knew that I was in the place where I was right. We had a disagreement. I'm not going to go into detail what that was, but she knew that where I was coming from was pure, was collaborative, was for the relationship. It was by all means me showing her love, that I love her, I choose her, I'm devoted to her, I'm devoted to her family. So everything ended up, even though she didn't have a place for continuing to be angry, she still wanted to, find some sort of way of having that balance of power, because all of a sudden she's put out this information of, I don't think we're compatible, and I didn't bite. So now all of a sudden she now has to try and prolong this. Anyways, there was some things going on, but I knew exactly what was going on. So and because I kept a neutral state, it made her then want to chase. And then as soon as she was chasing, and yesterday, once our daughter was going to meet up with a friend and go, as soon as we met, it was, going crazy in our household. We made up in a really good way. If you just can read between the lines what I mean by that. So it was really good. And I was sitting there when we're laying there, and she was laying on my chest, and I was thinking, if I had not stood up for myself, if I had not put my case across, she wouldn't trust me. She wouldn't want to sleep with me. In fact, I would have been less attractive if I had been a social chameleon and just blended to what she wanted, even though I knew it was not the right thing. And a lot of you guys do that. You in the pursuit of peace, you lose the actual woman. You lose sex in pursuit of peace. Whereas if you embrace friction and you allow friction to happen, especially if you're doing it you're standing on something that is going to be collaborative and helps the family, helps your relationship, helps your kids, and you know that it's the right thing to do, but she's going to get frustrated by it, you stand by it. Because the one thing that I know for a fact is that she trusts me more when I can stand for something, even though she gets pissed off, than for me to not stand for anything. She doesn't get pissed off, but then doesn't trust me. It's like a weird cycle. So I had to make this episode today so you can see that I go through the same thing as you guys go. So, and I want you to know this, because it's easy to look from a distance and say, oh, you've got it made. Why is it that everybody else has got it made and I'm the one that's struggling? We're all struggling. anybody in a relationship, and you actually struggle a lot more when you're trying to make it work and when you're trying to make it work right, because you are prepared to embrace friction. For example, it makes it extremely more difficult. But when you do have levels of comfort and you pursue levels of comfort, what it tends to happen is that it just shuts off any sex, anything like that will get shut down, because she won't respect you, she won't want to have sex with you, she's not attracted to you. But when you can allow friction to happen, which was what happened on Friday morning, I was boisterous to the point where my kids could see that I was not happy. My son saw that I was not happy, but all of that was a learning lesson for the whole family, that I was standing up for something that was right, and I was not going to back down, regardless of whether I was going to get laid or not get laid. I didn't give a shit. So again, you having that stance makes you so much better as a husband and so much better as a leader, because all of a sudden I feel closer to her today than I was when I was on Thursday when things were good. Because again, she saw that I'm willing to stand for what is right. And what is right, normally 9 times out of 10 when I'm standing up something that's to do with our relationship, and that means for us, and more importantly for the family as an extension. So I thought I'll make this episode for you guys so you can just see that you have to stand for what's right, and you have to allow friction within your relationship. And I'm not saying you go and be an argumentative for the sake of being argumentative. That's not what I'm saying. That's the opposite side, because now you bring a dick. But on the other side, what I'm saying is that when you know something is right and you're supposed to stand on that's right, you stand on it. I didn't insult her. I didn't shame her. I just stood on what I thought was the right thing and with the right message, and I continued saying the same thing as she went on and about something else. I just stood and said, no, this is exactly what I want, and this is how it's supposed to be, and I'm not going to change my mind. And again, we just kept on that same message up to the point where she realized that, okay, he's actually standing on something that is really important, and articulating that this is important for not just our relationship, but for the kids as well. And when she started seeing that, she actually realized that I was just doing what was right for all of us. I wasn't being selfish. I wasn't being, and that became extremely valuable because I was standing for something that was right. So again, guys, like I said, I'm saying this not to boast. I'm not saying this to show off or anything. I'm saying this to just show you that I still go through stuff, and you guys are going to continue going through stuff if you really want to change your relationship. And it's a good thing when you have friction within your relationship, because it gives you that opportunity to actually grow, but also demonstrate that you can stand for something, and that builds trust within your partner, and also then builds opportunities for you to have sex. So thank you very much, guys. See you soon. Take care.